Welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Dee Dee and this is Randy, and our first guest today is Gump. Gump is a mixed lab or pit bull puppy. He is only about 4 months old, and I'm sure you can see from his energy level that he is obviously ready for a new home and needs lots of activity to keep his little puppy brain busy. Gump will probably be about 75 or 80 pounds when he's grown up. Some of that we can't really estimate perfectly, but we can get pretty close. And the reason that I point that out is that there are many apartments and neighborhood associations that have limits on dog size as an adult. So you want to take that into account when you fall in love with a cute puppy. Our puppy adoptions are done anytime the shelter is open, but the way we handle the puppy adoptions is we take several applications and then we talk to each applicant about their readiness for a puppy. One of the things that we find at the shelter is a higher number of puppies than adult dogs are returned to the shelter about 6 months later. And most people would say, well, that makes perfect sense because puppies get into so much trouble and require so much training. But really all dogs require to be housebroken and given house manners. It's just that the energy level of puppies with people who work full-time and aren't home often ends up in a situation that doesn't work out. So we try very hard to place the about 150 puppies we get a year in a home that we prepare as fully as possible for what puppies are going to do. And they certainly are cute enough to make it all worth it. So if you've been thinking about a puppy and you think that Gump might be a good match for your family, come on into the shelter and meet him. Our next guest is Duke. Duke is a mixed lab puppy, about 6 months old. He won't be quite as big as our previous guest, Gump. And as you can see, he still a black puppy of a similar age, still plenty of energy. But when you are deciding on a puppy, you would have to see the puppy a couple of different times during the day because puppies have their energetic times and their flat out asleep times of the day. And the puppy you want to choose for your family is going to depend on how much of the day he spends in his active state and how much of the day he spends in his relaxed state. And dogs are individuals just like us, and it varies considerably. So Duke has just as much interest in people, clearly, just as happy of a tail wag, but he does seem to have a lower energy level as far as jumping up and chasing things. But if you met Duke again later this afternoon, he may be in a totally different state of mind. So with puppies, it's really important to come more than once and see how they are throughout the day. And obviously you can ask the animal care staff because they spend a lot of time with the dogs and they know what their cycles are throughout the day. So if you think that a puppy is in your future, please come to the shelter and meet Duke, remembering that we are open late on Wednesdays and Thursday nights till 8, and that we're open on Saturdays, and that we have often holiday hours. We are back with ONYX. ONYX is a male pit bull, and as you can see, he really likes people. He has a great tail wag, and often at the shelter we have a number of pit bulls, not only because they're so popular, but because they're very misunderstood, and people often get into conflicts with their landlords or neighbors and decide to relinquish their dog to the shelter to avoid further problems. One of the things to know about pit bulls is that they are not inherently different than any other breed of dog. They're big dogs, so like all big dogs, if they get into trouble or wreck something, they can do some damage. And they are terriers, and like all terriers, they can be pretty tenacious. So it is important, if you're going to get a terrier of any size, that you be willing to do some dog training and be persistent with the manners you expect from your dog. But like any large dog, you're going to want to do things like think about how to teach the dog not to pull on the leash and socialize the dog to other dogs and strangers and all of the things that you would do for any dog, but certainly you can get away with not doing on a small dog. One of the things we often see people do with small dogs when they're misbehaving is just pick them up. And ONYX, obviously, that's not going to be an option, so he actually will have to go to school. He already sits on command, he has good manners, he likes people, so he really does have a lot to offer. If you think ONYX might be the right dog for you or your family, or if you know someone who is looking for a dog like ONYX, you could go to petfinder.com and email his picture around, because we are sure that somebody is going to be a perfect match for him.
Pretty friendly with the dogs back there. Oh, you're sweet.
We are back with Spirit, and Spirit is an 8 to 10 month old female mixed shepherd, probably mixed with some beagle, but sometimes we don't know for sure. She is going to be about 30% bigger than she is right now by the time she grows to her full size. So if you've been thinking of getting a big dog, shepherd type, then she might be the right puppy for you. One of the things that you should think about when you're getting a puppy is the amount of time it will take her to reach her emotional maturity, probably about a year from now. And as you can see, as compared to the previous 2 puppy guests we had, her energy level is much lower. She's a larger breed of dog, so she'll take longer to mature. But she definitely has a lot to offer a family that's interested in raising a puppy. She is a sweet girl. So if you think that she would be a good match for your family, then come by the shelter and meet her. If you were thinking of getting a dog like her, but you're not sure that now is the right time, please come by, meet her, talk to us about our puppy adoptions, and get on our wish list for German Shepherd puppies. That way, whenever we get a dog in that is German Shepherd and young, we would give you a call and let you know until we find the right time for you and your family. If you think that you know someone who might want a puppy such as this, you can email the Pet Finder picture around and help us out that way too. Oh, good girl. We are back with Samson, and Samson is an adult lab. He is 4 years old with the energy of a puppy, and many people like labs. They're just as popular if pit bulls. We have so many in the shelter often. And Samson is available for adoption, and male, neutered. The family that had him only had him for 5 months, and they got him from a friend who couldn't keep him. So Samson will be on at least his 3rd home by the time he leaves the shelter. So obviously we would want to talk to any owner any person interested in taking on Samson about the energy of labs. They're friendly, they like people, they like to run and play. If you like to go camping or hunting or jogging, then he may be the perfect dog for you. But if you are gone 8 hours a day with a 2-hour commute, and then you're going to sleep 8 hours at night and do homework and dinner with your kids, you have to think about that leaving only about an hour and a half a day to do anything with Samson. And he needs a lot more than that. So if you have a schedule that's a little flexible, then you may be interested in a dog like Samson, who really does have lots of experience with kids, lots of experience out in the world, and just loves people. So if he seems like the right dog for you, or if you've been interested in labs in general, we do have the wish list. So please come by and meet him and see what you think.
If you're 55 or older and looking for a way to get moving and strengthen your body, then join the Frederick Senior Center for its strength training class. This class is offered daily and no pre-registration is required. For just $2 a class, you can develop strength, flexibility, balance, and coordination. Strength training also increases your metabolism, which can help control weight gain and help lower your blood pressure. So stop thinking about it and start exercising today. Classes are offered at the Frederick Senior Center, located at 1440 Taney Avenue in Frederick. For more information and class schedules, call 301-600-1605.
Need an idea for your child's birthday party? Look no further. At the Middletown Rec Center, we have all your birthday party needs. We have a full-size gymnasium, our large rec room, sports equipment, and many birthday party theme ideas. Each party includes crafts, games, and a story. please call 301-600-1646 for more information.
Before, addiction and depression kept me from living my life. And now, every step I take in recovery benefits everyone. There are many options that make the road to recovery more accessible. It begins with the first step. Join the Voices for Recovery. For information and treatment referral for you or someone you love, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
We are back with some adoptable cats at Frederick County Animal Control, and our first guest is Brad. Brad is a male domestic shorthair orange tabby who is 1.5 years old, and he came from a home, but they didn't have him very long. They found him and they took care of him for a while, hoping that they would find his owner. They weren't able to, so they brought him into us. And in fact, that's how we get many of our cats, is that people find a cat with no collar, no identifying marks, and they do what they can in their neighborhood to see where he came from. But after some time, they already have a cat or have other pets or can't have a pet. Then they bring the cat to us, and we also try to find the owner and then offer them up for a new home. And Brad, we have color-coded as blue. Our color-coding system is pretty simple. Blue is easy to restrain and handle by volunteers and staff of all ages. And Brad certainly qualifies as that, as you can see. If you are interested in getting a cat, we have many for you to choose from of all different ages, but Brad is typical, a young adult that has obviously been around people and is looking for a permanent home. If you think Brad would be a nice match for your family, please come by the shelter and meet him. We are back with Timberland, a 6 to 8 month old male, black domestic shorthair. And this kitty came from a gentleman's home where a mother cat that wasn't spayed was living nearby. He was feeding her. And as she had kittens, he tamed them and brought them into the shelter. This is very helpful to us because while he is working on trapping the female to get her spayed, then he's able to bring the kittens in friendly and ready for adoption. Sometimes we do get cats in the shelter that haven't been handled by people and they're already 6 to 8 months old or even older. And it's very hard for us to offer them for adoption because they don't consider all people to be companions, only the few people that they know well. So it was very helpful for us that this gentleman took the time to handle all of the kittens and get them relaxed with people before bringing them to the shelter. We're going to see one of Timberland's compatriots from that home in just a few minutes. And one of the things to consider, as you can see, when you are selecting a cat is our color code system. We talked a little bit about blue cats, and Timberland is also color-coded blue. But we also color code cats orange and green. Orange is for medium cats that are friendly with most people and have experience. And then green is for some kittens, but mostly for cats that are more shy and reclusive. So if you are interested in a cat, come to our shelter and consider the color coding system as a filtering mechanism for yourself because there are so many cats. Sometimes it's hard to know where to begin when you are looking for the right one for you. We are back with Lugs. Lugs is 1.5 years old, also domestic shorthair black male. He is from the same house as Timberland, and we are using towels to show the cats to you this morning. Any cats that are sneezing, we're going to try and prevent them from giving germs to each other by having, washing hands in between cats and using towels so that they don't give colds to each other. So even though Lugs and Timberland came from the same house and they probably got their cold from each other before coming here, it's just safety precaution for us not to spread it between kitties. And for people considering adopting a cat from the shelter, cats do catch colds from each other. They don't catch the same colds that people have, and people don't catch the same colds that cats have. So it's just a precaution we take to protect the cats. They also receive vaccinations for some of the upper respiratory infections that cats can get, and that protects them somewhat. So if you have a cat at home, then we would recommend that you choose a cat in the shelter that's not sneezing or having symptoms of upper respiratory infection at the time, or that you keep your new cat isolated from your resident cat for about 2 weeks before you let them meet. And we can tell you how to do that using a bathroom. And it's pretty common practice for getting a new pet anyway. So if you think that Lugs would be the right cat for you, please come by the shelter and meet him. We are back with MOCHA BEAN, and MOCHA BEAN is a 5 to 6 year old male, cream-colored domestic shorthair with beautiful green eyes. A lot of times cream color cats have yellow eyes, so he's kind of unique in his appearance. And he is ready for adoption into a new home. MOCHA BEAN also came to us from another family. You know how to work that. So he has experience in a home with a litter box and everything. And most of our cats at the shelter, we determine that they're litter trained by using beer flats or soda flats, cardboard boxes, with wood pellets. If a cat will use a soda flat with wood pellets, then they will be grateful and happy to have better accommodations, kitty litter, and most cats prefer a litter pan with a top on it. So that is the way that we determine that the cats that we put up for adoption will be litter trained in your home. If you think that MOCHA BEAN would be a nice addition for your family, please come in and meet him. And today we had all boy cats. No particular reason for that. Just seems to be what's in the shelter and available this week. But one of the things you should know about the difference between male and female cats is, as a rule, male cats tend to be more outgoing and accepting of strangers than female cats. Female cats tend to be more homebodies. But there's no way to really be sure. You have to come and meet the cat and see how the cat's personality meshes with your own. If you think MOCHA BEAN might be the right cat for you, please come by the shelter and meet him.
You're just as handsome as MOCHA BEAN.
We are back with Licorice. Licorice is a 2-year-old gray and white domestic shorthair. And Licorice has the typical face of an unneutered male. Of course, he will be neutered before he is adopted. But the big jowls and head of an unneutered male cat, some people prefer and find very attractive. So if that is your preference, then of course Licorice is available for adoption. Also, adult mature males tend to be the epitome of that, what I described previously, the friendly, outgoing with strangers, willing to cross territorial boundaries. So some people also prefer that for a personality for a pet cat. If you think that Licorice would be a good match for you, then please come by and meet him. He is awfully affectionate and enjoying his time on TV outside of the cage. So if you are interested in any of the animals that you have seen today, please consider going on petfinder.com and look for more information about them, or come to the shelter at 1832 Rosemont Avenue, or consider checking out our newspaper article on Sunday where we feature many of the animals that have been here for a week or more, and join us again on Pet Pals, and hopefully we will help you find your perfect match.